I'm here in North Creek, New York at the studio of Marjolaine Arsenault, who creates wearable art out of Nuno felt. What exactly is Nuno felt? Let's find out.
This was love at first sight. It had limitless potential of color combination, sculptural quality, just so many things we could do with the felting. So felting is actually a very ancient process that's been used for thousands of years. You can go back to Mongolia, where they were actually using felt to create boots, to create hats. The felted hats were still being used today. To create also insulation on their yurts. So they would actually, on the yurts, they would create the inside walls of the yurts, sometimes even creating the entire yurts from felting. Polly Stirling, who lives in Australia, is the woman who invented the process of Nuno felting. Nuno is Japanese for cloth, so it's combining the cloth and the wool together to create a lightweight felt. And of course, in Australia, being so warm, it was nice to be able to create a lightweight felt that was a little bit more airy than the traditional felt that is all solid wool. And I was very inspired by that process. I really like the quality, the drapey quality of the Nuno felt. Polly's sister, Robin, is in Glens Falls, and she's the owner of the studio where I learned the process. What I like to make personally are seamless garments, so that means there's absolutely no stitching. We use silk to create the base of the felting. Then I apply the wool on top of it. I overlap it a little bit, and then you just kind of try to follow that same line that you have here.
It's almost like cotton candy.
It is like cotton candy. Over the years, my work has changed from being solid wool covering all the surface of the silk to gently and slowly opening up, allowing these little windows of silk to appear through the wool. And lately, what I've been calling it is a stained glass window effect. So I use the luminous quality of the silk as the background of the wool. I also do a silk painting using silk fibers. So I use silk hankies, silk fibers, bamboo fibers, all these different natural fibers to paint on top of the wool. And it allows for an additional colors to be incorporated in the process.
Once this layout is done, then what needs to happen to get it to a wearable piece of art?
What I have to do is I actually have to apply water to this with a little bit of soap. Then it's rolled around a swimming noodle. The famous swimming noodle is now being put to work. And what that does is it starts migrating the wool fibers through the fabric. So, and it creates, once it's merging together, then it creates a new fabric. So I look at the past and I realize I've been every so many years changing career or being called to do something different. Being a graphic designer for 20 years, then going into landscape design, and then from landscape design, falling in love with Nuno felt. With COVID-19, I feel that, and this summer has definitely been a time of reflection, a time of really asking myself, okay, what is next? All my shows have been canceled for the entire year. I keep hoping every 2 months, well, maybe the next 2 shows will be happening. And then I get the notice of the producers that the shows have been canceled. All my teaching class, all the contracts I had, everything was also canceled. So it's been very depressing. It's been very difficult this summer, not knowing, where you're going to be next, and keep hoping that something will come up. I do feel it's time for a change. I do feel that it's time. I've been very attracted to do teaching. Maybe the teaching will be something more in terms of, giving lectures, giving hope to other artists, giving hope to people that there's something else that can be created. And if I look at the patterns of my life, I have not been afraid to take a leap of faith and to step into the unknown and just take a big risk. It's scary to take a leap of faith and just go into the unknown. But at the same time, if we don't take risk, then what happens to our life? The same thing gets repeated. And yes, it's safe and it's comfortable where we are. But I think COVID-19 is asking each and every one of us, what do you want to do with your life? What makes your heart sing? What is it that you've been dreaming to do and you've been, waiting for what?